I'm live. All right, I'm going to be discussing Blue Oyster Cult's new release, The Symbol Remains. And it's not really a review per se. I guess maybe it is, but I don't want to look at it that way. I'm a humongous fan. It's been almost 20 years since they put out this record. And I've spent a long time trying to absorb this and fully, you'll never fully grasp a really great record, but I've made an attempt at it. And I've cataloged on paper here my thoughts about this record, and I'm going to list some of those down here. The very first thing I'd like to point out is that I saw today on AC/DC's page that they're referring to their new album as the Breakthrough Album of the Year, and that's bullcrap. It's not half as good as this record. And this record, I've yet to decide if it could beat Fire of Unknown Origin as my favorite. I'm not sure about that yet. But what I have decided is that The Alchemist is my all-time favorite BOC song now. I don't believe I'll change my mind on that. Maybe time will tell, but right now I believe that. It is epic, and Eric's vocals are just knock out of the park, and I'll get to that later. But let's discuss some of the other things about this record. John Shirley's lyrics are amazing, and I'm not really a lyric hound. Some people that are BOC huge fans are about words perhaps more than music. I don't know if that's even possible because BOC's music is so good that focusing on the words over the music would be very difficult. But I found myself perplexed and thinking about the words in this album a lot. The other thing I've really decided about this record is that the high point over everything, and I told Eric Bloom this to send him a message, and I was surprised to get a reply where he said thank you, but Eric Bloom's vocals is the #1 favorite thing on this record for me. He just killed it. He gave tons of energy and passion, and I felt like it was his highest point ever, his performances on this record. I don't think that there's anything he's done that can top what he did on this record. It was just amazing to me. So off to the first song, which features Eric Bloom. That was me. It kicks you right in the nuts right at the beginning. That song is just a hammer right to the nuts. And Eric just nails it. And I love the lyric on there, see a broken bottle of real fine wine, that was me. And that lyric right there is kind of, it's funny because you're talking about a guy that's a troublemaker, really, and he does all these bad things, but yet he goes to the depth of finding a fine bottle of wine to break it. And I think that's just really interesting and cool. So that song out of the gate is a perfect opener, followed by Box in My Head. And Buck, the master of songs that put you in a trance, Box in the Head does it. He doesn't shred guitar on the solo. I don't even know if there is a solo. Probably isn't one, but his guitar is just masterpiece as always. And the vibe of it is just that trance-like feeling I love from BOC. And the image that sticks in my head, I was thinking immediately, it sounds like a nesting doll because you got a box in your head and a side is a box and then in another box within. But yet it's not just a nesting doll. It's a person's complexity, and that someone has to really dig in and make an attempt to fully understand another person, which they're probably never going to be able to do. But the lyrics are just amazing on this. Again, great song, great lyrics. Tainted Blood, which is really a power ballad, and it shocked me because I don't really remember many power ballads, if any, from BOC. But this one's definitely a power ballad. It reminds me kind of like Macaulay Schenker Group, which I really liked, that grouping with Michael Schenker and Macaulay as the singer. What's interesting now is, unless I've miscounted, you've got this song, you've got Nosferatu, and I Love the Night, which really could be referred to from now on as the Vampire Trilogy. You've got 3 great vampire songs, and you could play them back to back and kind of really put yourself in the mood of what it's like to be a vampire, and perhaps use it as a backdrop for Halloween. Nightmare Epiphany is the second longest track on the record, and honestly, it could have kept going and going. The length never got tiring. I love the track, and it just could keep going forever. Lots of great words in there. And I really like the surf-like riff. That's a breakdown in a few places. I heard some guy online said he didn't like it. It didn't feel like BOC. And I thought, man, that's probably my favorite part of that song is that surf-like breakdown. This was previously a demo, so it had been recorded before, and then this is an improvement on that demo. So Edge of the World is Eric's stallionness coming out again, and Jules's drum fills are really kick-ass on this one. Just a great track. Richie, obviously everybody knows Richie Castellano did a lot of great work on this record, and this is no exception. The Machine. Now I played all of these. I did drum covers for all of these tracks, and they're online. I've got a playlist for the Symbol Remains drum covers. And this one, the intro timing was really interesting and difficult. I don't know what you call that kind of a halftime herky-jerky where the guitar is on one click and then the drums are kind of off of that click. I don't know what you call that, but it took me quite a while to get that intro. And the words to this make you think of a chick. But when you think, let's see, did I jump forward to the wrong song? I think I jumped forward to the wrong song. Am I on the Machine? Yeah, I'm on the Machine. Okay. So they make you think of a chick, but then if you listen deeper, it sounds like it's about a computer and the endless hours that Richie spends on one, because he's done a lot of videos and he's done mastering, I guess, and recording and all this stuff for this record. So the Machine, I think, is about his computer or something akin to that. And it's got great backing vocals on that. Then you get to Train True, which I think a lot of people are kind of shocked about this song because it's got that country kind of train chug that's in a lot of older country songs. It may seem a little weird at first, but when I got on the drums and jammed this, it was really fun to play. And I like how it goes back and forth from the train chug to just straight rock groove on the cymbal. A lot of those country songs kind of stay on that chug thing and never really get off of it. This thing kind of goes back and forth, so it's kind of a hybrid. The Return of Saint Cecilia is a classic rock jam if there ever was. You can almost transport yourself back into the 70s, and this song would have come out at that time period. Richie nailed this sounding like a 70s song. It's got a lot of jamming guitars on it. And then you get to Stand and Fight. I like heavy stuff. This is one of my favorites on the record. It's got some brutal, weird time changes in it, which were really hard to get down. And the drum fills are badass. Danny's thumping bass just kills it. And really, if you go to a live show, this would be probably one of the funnest ones to stand up in the front and just pump your fist to. I really like Stand and Fight. Florida Man, I love this Buck tune perhaps more than any of the other Buck tunes on the record. It's got a really mysterious lyric. I still don't fully understand it. I'm gonna have to dig into it more. I guess it's based on some kind of a mythology. I don't really know. In your comments, if you know more about what this song's about, go for it. I usually focus more on music than lyrics. And this one, I think the music locks me in so much that I haven't dug into the lyrics as much. But like I said, there's some exceptions on this record where the lyrics are just sticking in my head, which is abnormal for me. And then we get on to The Alchemist, and Eric kills it. And of all the songs on this record, I've listened to this one the most, no doubt. I've had to sit quietly several times after listening to this song and just in amazement, bewilderment, perplex, just what did I just hear? This Alchemist song is a masterpiece. I know it's based on H.P. Lovecraft, and I read all his stories. I got a big blue book on Amazon a few years ago, and I read it from front to back. And H.P. Lovecraft wrote some really bizarre stories involving monsters and things of that sort. But this Alchemist short story is a perfect backdrop for this song. And they just put everything in there. The kitchen sinks in that song. They've got the dueling guitar solo. They got everything. Just blow your head off that song. And Eric just killed it. I mean, I actually was shedding a tear after the one time listening to it. It's like the perfect rock song. Just, they don't have a song, I think, that has ever topped that song. If that's not the best song ever, it's got to be very close. Secret Road, I've loved this since the demo was released. The haunting lyric of how the world would end with a whimper and not with a bang, that floats around in my head all the time. This is one of the spookiest, just greatest lyrics ever. And John Shirley, this is a masterpiece of his lyrics. I don't know what else to say about that. Great song, great lyrics. There's a Crime. Man, this song is kind of creepy. It's like a punk track, and Jules's mid break is badass in there on the drums. I really want to know more what the crime was, though, because you could take this a couple ways. Did he just break her heart, or was it something more sinister? Maybe I don't want to know. Anyway, it gets my head really running down the street with my imagination. Like, what the heck is he talking about here? And then the closer, my freaking phone's ringing. That's the problem with live. My phone is ringing. Fight. Buck, the master of putting someone in a trance, pulls it off again. By the end of the song, I'm in that kind of drunk, stupefied state, almost akin to sadness, of the way I would describe the way some of Buck's melodies make you feel. You can't quite put your finger on it. I wonder if it's people watching a pay-per-view boxing match that they're talking about, or a fight observed at a bar. I'd really like to know the story of the fight. So if anybody's got it, put it in the comments down there. The last lyric, last one, turn out the light, it really kind of made me a little sad at the end, because I thought, I hope this has nothing to do with this being the last record that BOC puts out, because this one is stellar. And I could say, if it is turned out to be their last record, this is a masterpiece, and you can't complain about that. But I hope they put out some more records, especially if we have downtime due to this stupid virus. They could probably put out 2-3 more records and still be done by time for tour. So I was going to say, support this band. They've got a lot of cool DVDs out right now. Frontier Records, you go to their page. I bought several of their DVD performances that they've redone and put on Blu-ray, and they're all just awesome, and they're varied. Some different older albums they ran through, and just great stuff. But 2020, this right here, the highlight of the whole year, this record. And I'll still have to figure out if it's better than Fire of Unknown Origin or not. That's jury's still out on that. I'm not sure. It's going to take me a while, but it might be.